Welcome to the Me and Her Travel podcast, where one of us plans an epic adventure.
And the other one questions their sanity.
Don't you feel the allure of the Camino de Santiago?
You mean we're a bunch of people who all have a mysterious hankering for walking 500 miles over the course of a month or so, all congregate to one spot? No, not really.
As you can tell, we are on the opposite sides of the fence on this one, and we don't even know yet how it's all going to play out.
So stay tuned as we discuss the Camino de Santiago, the who, what, why, where, and when, and the what ifs. Wheels up.
We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hola, everyone, and welcome to the 33rd episode of the Me and Her Travel podcast. I'm Tony, here with my wife, Julia.
Hola.
Today, we will be talking about an entirely different kind of trip. This is not a vacation, per se. It's a true travel experience that may or may not sound appealing to you.
I haven't fully decided what I think about this yet, but it does seem to be a very polarizing concept. I think a lot of people are either like, heck yeah, sign me up, or hard pass, thanks but no thanks.
As we mentioned in the intro, we are going to cover the who, what, why, where, and when, and the what ifs. I will start with the who. The who is me.
Yep, definitely you.
Yeah,
All you.
so we've talked
you,
about
babe.
this from the beginning, but before we get into the who and why we came to the decision on the who, let's talk about the what. Because yes, I'm doing this. Julie is not, for the most part, that we're
Probably.
discussing still at this point.
Yep.
But here's the what. Let's talk about the what in the sense of what is the Camino de Santiago? Because a lot of people don't have any idea what it is. They may have
Most
heard about
people.
it. Most people don't, though. Well, before we can get deeper into that conversation, we got to know the background a little bit. The Camino de Santiago is Spanish for the Way of St. James. This is basically a pilgrimage, a walk, a way of travel all across Europe to one town. And that town is called the Santiago de Compostela. And it's in the western side of Spain. It's a little tiny town north of Portugal, just about 100 kilometers from the coast on the west coast. So that's where all of this takes place. Now, what is that exactly? So St. James, Jesus' right-hand man there, the apostle, in 44 AD, James went on a pilgrimage to walk about to go and spread the word of Christianity, and he walked to Galicia, which is the western province area of Spain, and he did a lot of preaching there. Well, then when he left there, he went back to Judea, and he was killed by King Herod. So his followers collected his body, parts maybe, and brought it all the way back to Galicia, to an area where they said, hey, we want to be able to bury him in this area where he was preaching last, when he went to the walk to the end of the earth. So they put him on a cart and they carried him around, and the story goes that they let the ox go to wherever it stopped to take a rest, and that's where they would bury St. James, or James at the time, the prophet, the apostle. And when the cart stopped and the ox stopped, it was right by a little stream, and there was this area. They buried him there, and they built a church up and around that exact spot, which is the main church in the town of Santiago de Compostela. Now, Santiago means Saint James, so Santiago. So anyways, what happened then is
Iago means James?
Yep. So that's in the language there. So yeah. So I didn't know that at the beginning either. So now, for over 1,000 years, fast forward to people making pilgrimages to holy sites. For over 1,000 years now, people have been traveling all over Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, all over Europe to go to religious sites. And even when they started to do this, they were walking to where St. James was buried, or his remains were, to Santiago de Compostela. And these routes became pilgrimages, and there's a lot of them. There are over 200. There's 281 official walks, or caminos de Santiago.
In the world, or in
the
this
world?
region?
In the world, because some of them are like from the east side, like of Romania, from France, Greece. There's a lot of places that they come from. And there's even one that is the Antarctico, which is, you can start one in Antarctica, cross and do a maritime Camino, which it's kind of hard because Camino means walk, I think. So they're getting to shore and then they're walking, but they are coming from it's
Those
from where
are
you start.
really crazy people.
It is. There's some crazy ones. Anyways, there's ones that are thousands and thousands of miles, and there's some that are as short as 100 kilometers. That's the prerequisite to walk a Camino. So what this all is people, for whatever reasons, walk a Camino de Santiago, and the minimum that they have to do is 100 kilometers to get a Compostela, which is a certificate saying that they walked to the church, to the final resting place of St. James. So a lot of people do what is called the French Way or the Way of St. James, and that one starts in Saint Jean Pied de Port, which is in France, just on the north side of the Pyrenees, which is where I'll be starting from. And that, while you walk up and over the Pyrenees and walk all the way along the northern part of Spain to the west, almost to the west coast, to the town, to the church, and that's about 500 miles, 800 kilometers. But along that path is Sarria. Now, Sarria is a town that is only 100K out, and most people start their journeys there because they only want to walk for 5 to 7 days. So they walk 5 to 7 days from Sarria, 100 kilometers, and they walk to the church. They get their Compostela, and so that's why they do it. But they come from all over. There's a Portuguese way that's really popular, El Norte, which is the north route. But the Way of St. James is the way I'll be taking, the French way. They call it the French way because it starts just across the border in France. Now, to do this, the reason why people did this, and when they were on these pilgrimages, let's say they're going from Italy and they're walking up all the way over to the west side of Spain. People would not believe them if they just disappeared for a couple months and come back. So what they had to do is Galicia, the area of Spain is known for their scalloped seashells that are on the coast there. So you had to go to Santiago de Compostela and you had to return with a scallop shell. That proved that you made it all the way to your end destination. So for 1,000 years, people have been going there, getting their shell and bringing their shell back to wherever they came from. Now they had to walk back.
So you're saying a really great business concept would be to set up a shell shop midway between and sell shells to all the people who didn't actually want to walk
cheater.
100K.
So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of what this is all
Does it?
about. But yes, there actually are people that do that kind of stuff. And now you can actually get your shell because you carry one with you to show that you're on the Camino on your backpack. Because all of these routes,
You
for the
carry
most
a
part,
shell with you?
you wear a shell on your backpack to let other people know that you're not just out hiking, you're actually on the pilgrimage from wherever you're walking, but you're walking to Santiago de Compostela. So that just lets other people know, hey, I'm a pilgrim, you're a pilgrim, we can talk. But you mostly know on these paths because there was over 500,000 people that did a Camino last year to Compostela.
Wow.
So that's a lot. Okay, so it's grown exponentially over the last 10 years, but there's not just people walking for religious reasons. There's all kinds of reasons: self-reflection, dealing with pain and suffering. Who knows what? There's a lot of different ways, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But
So you're saying that even the Camino is dealing with over-tourism?
currently, it is. Yeah, sadly, it is. And you can take the more obscure routes, and there's hardly anybody on them. But the French way that I'm taking, there was 240,000 people that did it last year. So it doesn't matter when you walk it, really, really busy in the spring and fall. Some are a little bit less than those two seasons because those are off-shoulder seasons, and the summer is really, really hot. And then the wintertime, hardly any because you're dealing with snow across northern Spain, especially in the Pyrenees, and it's just really cold and snowy. But that is, in a nutshell, what the Camino is. It's basically an ancient pilgrimage. Think about this. They had to have castles with Knights Templar stationed along the path from France to the west side of Spain just to protect the pilgrims because they were being persecuted. If you were a Christian, you were persecuted by a lot of people. So they had these strongholds where you would walk to, and you'd make these long walks during the day, get to the security of a town, but the town wasn't necessarily in your favor, so they would have to get sanctuary by the Knights Templar in forts. And then they would start their next day or a couple of days later, and they would start again and keep walking. So for 1,000 years, people have been doing this, and the paths are pretty well established.
That's super cool.
So that's the what.
Okay, so let's get into the why. Is that what we're doing next here?
Sure. Who, what,
So
why, where?
you mentioned that some of these pilgrims might be in search of spiritual growth, but they also might just be searching for a new adventure. I'm guessing a lot of people just want the adventurous part of it. Many probably want to test their mental or their physical endurance as a personal challenge. Maybe that's part of what you want. I don't know. Some use it as an escape, probably from the real world, or a way to just disconnect and turn off from all the devices for a while. And it's probably a perfect opportunity for self-reflection, maybe get some answers out of life. But there are a myriad of reasons as to why someone may feel compelled to do this. And I've asked you a lot of times, and I know that everybody that we talk to, it's burning. Like, what's the main question about why you are doing this? Why do you want to do this?
And my response to them and to you and to anybody that asks is, I don't really know. I don't really know as to what is the end reason. I think a lot of reasons that add up to why I want to go, but I have this undeniably burning desire to do this, and I don't even know why. Some of it I think is a challenge. Some of it I think is spiritual, because my faith is my faith, and we don't have to get into that too much, because this is not about Christianity. This podcast is not about Christianity. It's about this trek and this walk.
And neither is the Camino necessarily.
Right. For some people, it has nothing to do with spiritual
Yeah.
or religious reasons at all.
People of all backgrounds and faiths and ages and everything do this. And so it's not necessarily a religious
for me,
designation.
it might have some spirituality to it. I do want to learn more, and I want to see where I'm at with that a little bit, because I was a philosophy major in college. I questioned everything, and I've questioned my faith forever, and I think that's kind of healthy to do that, honestly. But I want to see where I'm at, and this might guide me a little bit. I think that the challenge of it and being able to accomplish, this is 500 miles. You're walking 12 to 17 miles a day with a backpack on your back. You carry everything with you. So I'm going to have, they say to take only about 10% of your body weight, because you will get fatigued. Your body's going to fall apart. Your feet, your legs, everything's going to hurt every day. That's part of it. They want a lot of the why is you're going to endure suffering, and you're supposed to. That's supposed to bring you closer to the why of the pilgrimage, to suffer, to learn about yourself and how you handle it. I don't really know the why for me. I can't just say in a nutshell, this is why. I don't know it. I think what I'm hoping, they say when you walk this, your first 5 days, you're kind of in, you're still into it. But about 15 to 20 days in, you also get the why. It just smacks you upside the head. Like, oh my gosh, I have clarity. I know what I'm doing. I have thoughts about all kinds of things in the world, and things start to become clear because you have all day to think. You're just sitting in your head thinking for hours and on end every day. And the people around you are all in the same boat. So you get to talk to them, and you get to, share stories and, why they're doing it. And I've seen enough online and reading about it with a lot of people aren't sure why they're going.
I will say that, I don't know. I don't even actually know when you brought this up.
Oh, it's been a long time.
But when you brought it up, you all of a sudden just dove in head first, and you were absolutely obsessed with reading about it and reading blogs and watching shows and YouTube and all different kinds of things that you went down that rabbit hole deep.
I think part of that is that when I retired, you can never fathom doing this when you are in a job. It is minimum 5 weeks. Like it's going to take a month and a half to, or more to do this whole process. And to do that, you have to take that much time off of work, or you have to break it up. Like go and walk a couple 100 kilometers and then come back on another trip and start where you left off and go again. And people do that.
Feels really disconnected.
It feels very disconnected. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, and I've known I wanted to do this for a long time, but I didn't ever really think I could do it. And all of a sudden I retired, and I'm like, wow, we have time. This is what we're doing, is we're traveling. But when I brought it up to you, and this kind of gets us into the who, I brought it up to you, like, what do you think? I really want to do this. That was not really what you wanted to do.
Well, I was like, how far is this again? 500 miles. And I mean, some of it does appeal to me, the historical aspect, to be able to follow in the footsteps of pilgrims and people who cherished Jesus. And, I actually do think that's really cool. And just the historical aspect, I find that fascinating. I like that. I like to be connected to history. I think it would be really cool to meet all the people that are on that journey and hear some of their life stories and why they're doing it. I find all that stuff wonderful in my head. But then I think about the physicality of
And let's talk
literally walking that far. Like, I have absolutely no desire to
and
do
also
that.
the accommodations. You looked into this a little bit, and that kind of was another like, okay,
I did watch
don't
a
want to
few
walk that
videos.
much.
I'm like, I don't know if that part is for me. I don't know if I really like that. And let's be clear, I'm not super bougie. I'll go camping. I'll go tenting. I'll do all kinds of things. I mean, we've slept in all different kinds of accommodations, but we're talking about 40 to 50 days of possibly sleeping in rooms with a lot of other people. I'm a light sleeper. I also kind of am a creature of habit. I need a lot of sleep. I wake up really easily. I don't sleep deeply sometimes. I just think I would probably be a little bit of a hot mess after a bit.
So the walk brings you to the church in this town, but then another add-on, which a lot of people do, a large amount of people do, is they walk from there to the actual coast, which is another 4 days. And that's where you go, and the scallop shell would have been from there, right? So that's, you walk to what was known at that time as the end of the world. There was nothing known beyond that far west coast of Spain. They considered that the end of Earth. And so I plan on doing that as well, and then a couple of add-on days up to Muxia, which is another little town. So it's about another 6-7 days of hiking after the Camino's done. And I think I have talked to Julie into maybe joining me at when I finish in Santiago de Compostela, and then she joins me there when I think I get there. And then when she joins me there, we then take off and go over to the coast, and she will hike on that with me. Does that sound about maybe right?
I think that sounds intriguing, but the problem is you don't know exactly how long this is going to take you.
Right.
Some days you might feel great, some days you might not, and you might rust for a few. So your timeline is not set in stone. So when do I even come over, and what do I do in between? How do I find you? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks there that I think are complicated.
That's in the what if section. We can talk more about that.
Yeah, we can talk about more.
Let's talk about the where aspect, and what does this trip look like, and what has been booked. I'm leaving from Spain. I mean, from France, and right on the border. Getting there is not easy. I'm gonna have to fly into Paris or Madrid or Barcelona or something like that, and then take trains, planes, buses, automobiles, you name it, to try and get to this small little tiny town. And then from there start the walk.
Why don't they start the walk somewhere else that's more accessible?
I don't know why.
And add on a little
I
bit.
really don't know why it started there, but that is the beginning of the French way, the way of St. James. All the other ones start, like, there's one that starts in Porto. Great, fly into Porto, start, and then walk up the coast, which is a lot more pretty, by the way. I've heard from people that's got a lot of shoreline and beautiful views of the ocean. I'm walking across.
But isn't it
a
harder hike though, or it's like more
no
obscure, like not as many?
No, there's a lot of people. There's 130,000.
So why wouldn't you do that one? That sounds better.
I didn't want to do that one. I want to do the original way of St. James. So, anyways, I have the days planned, the first 5 nights with my albergues, which are like hostels. So these hostels that Julie was now keen on either, is that they are basically a glorified giant bunk room with bunk beds, and you basically show up. You walk all day, you get there into a town where you say, I'm tired, I got to stop walking. And you walk into town and you go up to this door and you say, hey, do you have any room? They say, yes, we have beds. And then you say, hey, all right, is there meals at this place? You can kind of check some of this online, but you didn't use to. You just kind of walked into town, and if they had a room, they had a room. Now there's enough albergues in these towns that if one is full, you go to the next one. And if that one's full, you go to the next one. And they even say that the Camino will provide, if you get, and all of them are full, the people in town will be like, hey, I've got a room in my place. You can come and stay at the place, the night with us, just random Joes. So it's a very, very friendly, supportive environment along the path. But you don't like the idea of sleeping in a bunk room with, 40, 50 people all in one room with probably earplugs for snoring people.
Well,
not
we
to mention
watched
what
that
other
movie, and I
noises.
think it was that movie that kind of scared me away a little bit.
Which one? The Way?
The Emilio Estevez
Estevez and Sean.
and his dad.
Yeah.
Because they literally were, I don't know, 30, 60 bunk beds in there. And you just grab a bunk bed and somebody's below you and people are moving around in the night and getting up and running to the restroom and snoring and
Whatever else kind of noise
whatever
comes out
else
of
is
people.
going on. And you kind of got to tuck your belongings, like your, things that are valuable, tuck it to you so that no one can take it.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because packing also, what I'm bringing like a couple pairs of shorts, a couple shirts, my shoes, my sandals, some toiletries, and not a whole lot else, because you can't have that much weight. So you got to be packing light, because every ounce matters, they say. You really don't want to overpack.
Yeah, but
People
like
that
you're
overpack
taking your
are dumping stuff
glasses
left, right,
and your
I know 'em.
iPad and right? I mean,
maybe we'll see.
phone chargers. It's gonna start to add
Right.
up.
That's why you can't bring too much clothes. You can't bring a lot of things. So you don't bring a lot of valuables, and the true valuables, you never leave your site pretty much, because you don't want somebody stealing
So
your
like
stuff.
your money and your passport, basically.
Yep. Keep that on you.
So you go to the shower and you take it with you.
Or
I
you
don't
have to
know.
have something that locks. So anyways, Julie was not too gung-ho on the albergue situation, and not to mention hiking for long distances and not knowing. Here's the other
Well-
thing. When a lot of people say you should do it alone, and because you meet a lot of people on the thing, you're not going to be alone on the walk. You're going to meet people every day, tons of them, and you can walk and talk with as many as you want. Some become what they call the Camino family, and you might walk with them for 20 days or 5 days, or finish the whole rest of the hike together. If that's the case, they become lifelong friends, people that you are important to you for the rest of your life. This is one of those things that I feel Julie has a little FOMO about, is that meeting these people and me learning and getting to know people and becoming close with them, and not having that same bond because she wasn't there.
I do feel really jealous about that. Jealous, I don't know if that's the right word, but you're going to be connected to people doing a really, really neat shared experience that I won't have a part of. And this actually makes me feel really emotional right now. Like I don't want you to necessarily go have this amazing experience without me. I don't want you not to have it yourself, but I feel like I will really feel left out, not understanding what that's like, being part of that, being able to support you in it, and like to both come away. Like we had some friends that did this together and said it was the most amazing thing they ever did. They think about it every day. And so I actually feel some guilt because I don't feel as excited about this as you do. I feel badly, like I should just do this for him. But this isn't one of those kinds of things you do for somebody else.
Well, not to worry, because I think that if I do this and I have the experience that I'm expecting, but you're never going to get what you expect. So it's going to be something different than what I expect. But let's say it's close to what I expect and it's pretty amazing, and you join in for the last 7 days and we hike out to the coast and you get to experience that. Maybe even with some of the people that I was hiking with before, you'll get those shared. But the people that do this and love this, which is a lot of people, they do it over and over. Like they'll do it the next year and the year after. People have done like 10, 15 of these. Like some do 2 times a year. We're talking 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1
How
week.
do they fit that
I
into
have
their
no
life?
idea, but they do it. And I read about them all the time. And these people they do it all the time. Some people now lead groups, or when they're done, they go and they work in these albergues and they help people on the path, because it's just such a magical environment where everybody's all about the same thing, trying to help the pilgrims out and being a supportive person for them. So if it's amazing, and I say, Julie, it's not as bad as you think. We could do hotels, you can do albergues, you could do different things, but that costs more money, because the albergues that I'm talking about, you stay at them, they're like $7 to $15 a night, and a lot of them you get a meal with that, either a dinner and or breakfast. So they're there to provide help and sustenance and a warm bed. That's it. And then you move on. There's no frills, but you get meals and you get a bed and you go the next day. So it's cheap. It's not an expensive thing to do. Now, if you want to go stay at a hotel like you would want to do, and you did that every night, that might be
Well,
very costly for a month
I
and a
don't
half.
necessarily need like some really super plush hotel or anything, just a room that was private, a small room, tiny room. I don't care.
They do have those at most places, but they cost extra. So your costs then go up quite a bit.
I also really worry about I had plantar fasciitis for 2 years. I don't want that back. And my back was bothering me really badly before I went to Italy last year, randomly.
And it was a mess.
I worry about just physicality. I'm 54. We're not talking,
Not for
right-
much longer.
We're right midway. But there's people I've seen they're doing in their 70s and their 80s, and you think, okay, if they can do it, I can do it, for Pete's sake. I'm pretty fit. We work out, we take care of ourselves, we eat right. I should be able to do this, but I have fear about that.
Well, and that's part of the reason why a lot of people recommend you do this thing alone. And that seems counterintuitive to us because everything we do together.
Where
we
me and
we're
her
me and
travel.
Yeah.
Not me travel by myself.
That's right. We travel together and we love it. But on a journey like this, where you had health problems or whatever, and I currently have plantar fasciitis right now. I'm dealing with it.
know.
And I'm petrified. We'll get into that a little bit more, but they say you walk it alone because you don't have to answer to anybody else's Camino. You have yours, and if you're not feeling well or right for a day, you sleep in. You stay another night or two in a town where you are healing and you're resting. If I'm feeling great and I'm ready to roll, and Julie comes down, she's gonna feel guilty that she's holding me back, or vice versa. If I was like, hey, honey, I can't walk for like 3 days. I got to take 3 days and just sit in this town. You would be like, okay, I'll wait for you. Well, you don't want to do
And it could be
that.
pretty boring too.
Right.
Some of these little towns.
So
But
walking your
also,
own is important.
but also, I think the reason why you want to do it alone and the reason why I'm excited for you to do this is because you do need that introspective time, whether it's spiritual or adventure motivated or just whatever the people's reasons. I do feel like you need that alone time to figure out your impetus. Some of the benefits of why you want to do this, but what the driving force underneath this gumption, where that comes from, that's what you don't know yet. And how are you going to find that out if you're taking care of your wife and checking us in and, getting us food? Because you run around and take care of me
I
all
would
the
be
time.
worried about you the entire walk every day.
Yeah,
Like, are you doing okay?
You
Are
would be
keeping up?
sacrificing your experience.
And you and I walk at different speeds. Honestly, you walk at a different pace than I do all the time. Everywhere we're going, I go, "What are you doing?" NBL, natural born leader. You have a different stride than me. It's quicker, but that's So you would always having to be working to somebody else's speed, and you don't want to have to do that. You want to be able to go for your body to be healthy and to be right. You don't want to push too hard, and you don't want to go too slow. So.
Well, and at this point in time, you already have some of your things booked, and I couldn't even join you if I wanted to.
Well, that's part of the win, because for me, the win was, by the way, let's go back for a quick second. I think I know when I really, really decided that I got really gung-ho. It was last summer when I did the solo road trip or last spring. It was a year ago right now. Actually, a year ago this week. I came back from that, having that adventure of my road trip where I went down through Arizona, New Mexico, down to Texas, and down to Big Bend National Park and dipped into Mexico. I had a lot of time in the car by myself and hiking by myself. And wow, it was really, really great for me. I don't say it. I mean, I missed you like crazy. I called you all the time. And
I understand.
But it was something
I don't take it
about
personally.
that solo experience that I thought, oh, wow, I forgot. I had thought about the Camino for a long time before that, but I thought, oh, I could probably do this now. I have time. And then I started talking to you about it, and yeah, that didn't
What's
go.
interesting is that you are an extrovert by nature, and I am an introvert by nature. So because of that, for the majority of my life, I have protected my own private time and alone time and the need to decompress and kind of hide away from the world for a little bit. I've always been that kind of person. You've never been that kind of person. You've never had the opportunity or the desire or the need maybe to do that. And I think as we mature, our needs change, our desires change. And I think you do crave a little bit of solace and a little bit of who am I? Where is my life going?
You're right.
and craving some of that alone time that you need, that I've always had that time. And I think this is kind of why when you said to me, like, do you want to do this? I said, I do not need to go walk 500 miles to find myself. I know who I
I
am.
don't either
No, but
in that respect.
I kind of think a little bit you do. You've
Maybe.
just had a really, really massive, massive life change with quitting your job and us just doing this travel thing. But you were always the breadwinner, and I think you still feel that financial responsibility on your shoulders. And how are we going to make everything come together? And what do I do now? And I I do think that you need some time to sort all of this stuff out in your brain. And where do you fit into the world, and where do you want to go? And I think that's good for you. I think you need that, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I would detract from your experience, I believe.
Well, thank you. I don't think you detract, but I think it would make it more challenging.
Distract? How
It
about
would-
that?
Yeah, it wouldn't be
Distracting?
it wouldn't be distraction. It wouldn't be. It would be just different than if I just have to worry about myself and provide for myself to get to and from the next place and whether or not I'm healthy. But let's talk about the when, because the when was decided. If you're listening to this right now and saying
This
you're
is
crazy,
ridiculous.
you think I'm crazy to go and want to go and hike 500 miles and stay in dormitories with strangers and whatnot, and that is maybe a little crazy. But the reason why I picked
Blisters, sunburns.
the middle of summer, like the hottest time, I'm leaving on July 1st and going to start my hike on July 5th. The reason why I chose July 5th is twofold. One, towards the end, I want to be in northern Spain because there is a total solar eclipse that's coming through. So I'm like, okay, that's going to be on the 12th of
Eclipse
August.
of the heart.
Yeah. So I want to see that, and I will be in its path. So that's cool. But more importantly than that is that the San Fermin festival in Pamplona, which may be commonly known as the Running of the Bulls, is from the 6th to the 14th of July. I am going to be in Pamplona on my 5th day of my walk, my Camino, purposely so that I can be in Pamplona for the Running of the Bulls, so I will get to run with the Bulls.
Or run from the bulls, as I say.
Whatever it is, I'll be there for 2 days. I have 2 nights stayed. I'm gonna have my first rest day will be an extra day there, just strictly so I can partake in this event for a day and a half and all that goes with it. And then it's back on the road and hiking, hopefully without a gored leg.
Oh gosh, hopefully, hopefully now you're not a peg leg. I think this is super funny that even in something like this, you have interjected the ability to customize your trip based on festivals. Like in our very
Right.
last podcast that hasn't even debuted yet, we really talk about a trip that we specifically did all this research for to find all these really cool things to do. And even on this Camino, which is a set thing, you have still figured out a way to add a couple major experiential travel pieces.
Absolutely.
And I am actually really jealous about that too, by the
Okay,
way.
you
Like a
know,
lot.
I've wanted to do the Camino for a long time, not nearly as long. And you talk to any boy that knows of the Running of the Bulls from when they're a child on, they all want to do it. Like everybody's like, ah, man, I want to do that. Someday I want to run with the Bulls. Maybe they have waned on that as they got older and got wise, but as they were children or teenagers, they're like, I want to go run with the Bulls because it's cool. But now I'm 55 and I'm like, I still want to run with the Bulls. So once I found the dates and this, I'm like, I'm now going to be walking across the northern Meseta of Spain, which is this just hot, desolate area in the highest of heat, July and August. It's
Which
going to
is
be
another reason why I'm
crazy
not
hot.
super excited about it, because I don't love the heat.
That's
And
right.
I'm very pale skinned, so I would need lots and lots of sunblock and hats. And I don't know, I think that sounds kind of a little bit miserable.
I'm going to Spain to work on my tan.
Yeah.
So that's the win. And I'll be ending up sometime mid-August. Julie will join me, early mid-August, and we should go for, the finishing walk out to the coast, go to Finisterre and Muschia.
We'll see, but as of
And
right
then-
now, you don't have any flights booked, and
Nope.
the flights now are so expensive because of oil and gas prices, and it's kind of crazy. And like, I don't know do I got to go get outfitted for a backpack too then? And
We got time. This is 100 days away
that's
today.
not very far.
It's 100 days from leaving today. So it's kind of exciting. And
I
I'm
didn't
going to
know
have
that.
all my stuff
Mm.
ready. But we'll have, if you're going to join, we'll have all your stuff ready to go. And then it'll be play it by ear, see how I'm doing. If I'm ahead of schedule or, you might have to buy your flight within a week or two of when it's time. Or you maybe go over early before I'm supposed to get there and kind of mouse around and do some little solo travel on your own in northern Spain. Maybe go see some friends in Madrid and then come up to me and meet me at the finish. And then we go hike for a little bit, finish, go down to Porto, finish, see some friends there, and then fly home.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't feel quite as solo ambitious as you. And I'm so accustomed to having you with me when we travel. It makes me a little intimidated to do it by myself.
Let's do some what ifs because the what ifs are pretty crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of them. We've never been apart this long in our lives, ever. So a couple weeks maybe, or 15 days maybe when we've taken a trip. Or I think you traveled with our daughter in Europe for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I met you for 2 days, and then I went with her for 3 weeks together. So we were apart for almost 6 weeks, but we had 2 days in between. So it's never been more than, let's say, 3 weeks. This might be a month, month and a half, or like 40 days. If that's the case, that'll be far. And I struggle when I'm traveling without you. I know that this is going to be part of my struggle, and part of the suffering that I'm going to have is that every day I'm going to be thinking, I wish Julie was here.
I'm afraid that you're going to get used to that and you'll be like, oh, this isn't so bad. Who needs her?
2.0? Looking for 2.0?
Yeah, maybe you'll find 2.0 on the trail. I don't know.
No.
That's scary.
Well, that's the fears
Because
that,
you will be
of the what
bonding
ifs.
with people over a shared experience that I won't have a part of.
Yeah. But that's also good. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So
I know. And I'm worried too that you will miss things here at home.
I am going to miss, I'm already knowing missing 2 weddings. I have to do
Yeah.
this also during the time frame because our niece gets married in the fall. So I had to be back for that. But the thing is, when you take this much time to go do something such as this, the Camino, you're going to miss things no matter what. It don't matter when you put it. You're going to, a month and a half being gone, you're missing some important things at some point. And some things just have to, hey, I'm sorry. I really wish I could be there for that, but I'm not going to be here. We have a family vacation that's going to happen that you're going to get to go with our kids and all the extended family, and I won't be there.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, that's up at a northern resort that we do every year.
Yeah,
so
but
it's not...
it's still, it's a fun thing that I'm going to miss out on.
So tell me too, like, and tell some of our listeners, this walk itself, what kind of terrain and what will you be seeing? Because when I do look at some videos of the terrain, I'm like, that looks dry and dusty and not very exciting. But then occasionally I'll see like these really amazing towns, and then I get serious travel FOMO. Like, I want to see that. I want to be a part of that. But
So think about it this: when this has been used for 1,000 years, this path I'm taking, 1,000 years of documented travel. They didn't choose it because they wanted to put a scenic path up on a hiking hill with like rocky outcroppings and looking. They wanted it to be as flat and easy as possible because they had to go, a long, long ways.
it's a thoroughfare.
It's a thoroughfare for walking, and they had to be able to do it without injury. Because if you get injured, 800 to 1,000 years ago, you just die. Like, you're not going to recover if you have bad injuries. So you wanted easy, flat walking. And there's rolling hills and stuff like that because of the terrain, but it is very, very simply a walk. There are some, when you go across the Pyrenees, the first 2 days, it's going to be 3,000 feet of elevation change in the first, 6-7 hours. But that I can do that. But after that, it's going to be just a lot of walking. I'm wearing walking shoes, like not runners, and they're basically trail runners, trail shoes. I'm not wearing hiking boots or anything like that. You don't need to.
Well, they're heavy and clunky.
Right. Every ounce matters.
So what are you...
The walking itself is, let's say, 6 to 7, 8 hours a day. You wake up, and because it's going to be summer for me, I'll be up probably an hour before sunrise, and I'll be going at like 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and walking, and then the sun will come up while I'm already walking, because I got to be done by noon to 1 o'clock. Because
That's only like 6 hours.
that's,
If you need
that's
to be
7 hours.
walking more than that, I mean,
If it's 1:30 and I'm done, then the high heat, it really gets in there at
well,
like
there's
2,
some
3 in the afternoon.
serious high heat well before that.
I know, but it won't be as bad as like 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon when it's really compiled.
I
So
don't know.
I will be stopped by most of those times in a town hopefully chilling at a pool or a stream or a puddle. I
Do
don't
they have a
care.
lot of pools?
Some have pools.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, and then you just get up and do it the next day, every day, and you probably plan about 2 to 3 rest days in that walk over 5 weeks, because you're gonna need it. Every once in a while, you just go, I need a break. My feet hurt. You get sore spots, whatever.
I'm surprised that people, when they get to Compostela, I'm surprised, like, because when you finally reach your destination, like, there's this exhilaration, but also this fatigue, like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm here and it's done. And then to go be able to walk another week, it surprises me that anybody would want to do that
It's
after
like
just doing.
they say it's like a cherry on top. It's like you're getting a dessert because your body's so accustomed to be walking these long distances. It means nothing to walk for 20 kilometers. Nothing. Like, you don't even think twice about it. Just get up and you're going to walk 20 kilometers. 10, 12 miles. 12 miles, no problem. And then you get to Compostela and you're like, oh, I'm done. Okay, you have a day, you celebrate with friends, whatever. You will be there, let's say. And then you go, we're walking to the coast. And you take it easy. And it's like, it's light as a feather, they say. It's not even a hard work. And one of them's 30 kilometers. It's a long day. Doesn't even
Then
phase
why
people.
do we want to go to this place?
Because you walk to the end of the earth. You go to the finish. That is the finishing of the hike.
Okay.
Anyways, that's one thing. But also the coming into town to the church, and when you come around the corner, you see, go online, you guys, go online and watch videos of people finishing the Camino de Santiago. It's inspiring. Almost everybody is bawling. I mean, like, you have just completed 500 miles of hiking, and it is moving and emotional. It's pretty special. And
I
you can
cannot
hear people's,
imagine what you are going to look like
oh, I'm gonna look
after.
rough.
Well, seriously, that is not just life-changing, maybe emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but physically. You're already really thin. I can't imagine what you're going to look like.
I'm tiny right now, but that's good because guess what? That means I have to carry less weight because 10% of my body is not much. So I won't have to carry a big, heavy backpack.
Well, you'll have some serious muscles built.
Yep. Your legs and
That'll be
everything is
nice.
just sinewy, kind of muscular at that point. So
Well, I hope you get your feet in good working order because you've
I
got a
hope
lot of
so.
training ahead of you.
Yep. And that's the other thing. I got to start training. And now they got 100 days left. I'm going to have to start walking long distances, carrying a backpack with my certain weight, 15 pounds. And just, I will have to carry that and go for 5 to 10 miles a day just to get used to it, so that when I'm there in the high heat, it doesn't hit me and I get injured because I'm not ready for
It's going to be funny. You're going to come home and you won't want to take the dog on a 2-mile walk.
it. I'll never want to walk again.
You're like, oh, it's too far, 2 miles. Really? You will never have an excuse.
All right. So people, you may just be hearing this like I tuned out an hour ago, or let's say 43 minutes ago, because I have no interest in this. That's fine. We're just letting you know what's coming up on our calendar because it's going to affect our schedule for our trips and different things that we're doing. Whether or not Julie and I can sit and record podcasts together, we might have to record from the road and talk to her on the phone or on the computer.
Or put a whole bunch in the bank
It's going to
before
be
you
interesting.
leave.
It's going to be interesting how this whole summer works out. I got a lot of things to take care of between now and then. I have a dear, dear friend that I've known for almost 20 years, who I met with for fun a couple weeks ago, and he goes, Tony, I got to tell you something. You're not going to believe this. I'm going to do something called the Camino de Santiago, and I've already got my rooms booked. I've got everything done. I've been planning this for a year, basically. And he tells me this. I'm like, you're going to go walk across Spain? He goes, yeah, you know about it? I'm like, I've already got my hotels booked. He's like, what? We didn't know each other are doing this. He leaves in 38 days from now. So he's walking the spring. I'm walking the summer. But he gets to go do it before me. So we're going to have that to deal with and talk about it coming up in the next month and a half. Very excited about that. We will keep you posted also on how to plan for this, what to pack, all the different things that go into it, because it's extensive to plan it right. Some people just say, hey, show up and just walk. Like, okay, those are crazy people. You got
We're
to put
way too much of planners to be able to do that.
way too much. So we'll keep you posted as it goes. If you want to learn more about it and in an interesting, fun way, and not so much just schoolwork, like looking it up, you can watch The Way, which with the Emilio Estevez and his dad, Martin Sheen. They did a movie called The Way. It's like a 20-year-old movie, but it's really good. And then there's also one by an Australian director who was a really funny one. Julie liked this one. It's called The Way, My Way.
I
And
liked that one better.
yeah, she liked that one better. It's funny. It's good. But they both give a little insight as to what it's like on the Camino.
The Emilio Estevez, or really it's Martin Sheen, who's the primary
Yeah,
character
he's in
in
it.
that
He's
one.
90% of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's most of it. That one is more emotional. It's more of an emotional journey. And then the other one with the director, literally the first scene was so funny.
The first 10 minutes was.
The first 10 minutes was, we were laughing out loud. He's like, you have to come watch this. Because I think you saw it the
Yeah,
first
I've watched
little bit
every
first.
movie and TV show.
And then you were like, come in here. And it was this man and his wife. They're driving in the car.
well, no. Just let them watch it. No, just let them watch it.
Oh my gosh,
You know
it's so
what?
funny. Okay.
Inspire them to go get up off their butts and go watch it.
Okay, so if you want one that's more humorous, then get The
The
Way,
Way,
My
My
Way.
Way.
And if you want one that's more a little pulling on the heartstrings, then get the other one. But
And you can go online, TikTok, anywhere, and look at thousands of movies and videos. Like I said, 500,000 people did a Camino of some sort last year. So if you want to look at something, you can find it. So that's that.
we wanted to share, though, kind of our conversation as we talk through like the do's and the don'ts and the should we's and the I don't know if I want to's and the regret and just all the questions.
Because people
and-
ask us about it all the time. And seriously, since last summer, it has been every waking thought for me. And we've gone on some amazing trips. And I'm sitting here thinking 3 trips ahead to the Camino, 4 trips ahead, like getting excited. And I'm like, okay, be present. Be happy that we're at the Olympics. I mean, come on. This is a life-changing kind of a trip for people. And I'm still thinking about it. It is so ever-present in my brain. That's how much of a draw it is in my consciousness that it's hard to be in the moment sometimes.
And there was one night, actually, while we were at the Olympics, and I said, okay, I'll do this with you. Like, I had one moment.
It was fleeting.
And then I was like, I just don't know if I really want to do that, though. I'm so torn because there's so many aspects that do appeal to me, but the big aspects don't. And I think those would be the stumbling blocks. And then I fall back to, you deserve to be able to do this for you.
Well, I'd love for you to come. I just think you might have regret later on, or I feel bad that I've talked you into it. It has to be to something that you want to do. I mean, this really has to be something that you choose and want to do, not, hey, let's go do this together because we're just planning a trip.
Yeah.
You have to personally want to do it yourself. And if you don't, no problem.
And I do not have that burning desire like
Right.
you do. And we have met people who've said, oh, I want to do that really bad too. I don't
Tons.
know why, but that sounds amazing. You know, I think you kind of either have that or you don't, maybe.
Well, we're going to
I
have
don't-
lots more information about it in the future. We're going to have tons of,
There will
stuff
be
to
a
talk about
follow-up.
afterwards. But because it's coming up, we wanted to talk about it, let you know that it's happening. So also, we can refer people to this now if they ask about it, because
Yeah.
seriously,
Just listen to the
I've had
podcast.
to explain it to, 100 people and tell them what it is and how it goes and what it's about.
No,
But-
the funny thing is you literally just got a text.
Right while we were in the middle of recording this, a family member texted saying, "Where are you going on this walking trek?
What's
I'm
it called again?
What's it called?
Where is it?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're recording a podcast right now about it.
Ironic.
So, yeah. All right, that's it for now. We'll keep you posted. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys so much, and we love doing this. We'll do more. We got another, probably the next one after this one might be Tanzania. African safari.
Yeah, we got some big stuff to talk about.
We got some cool podcasts coming up after this one, but thank you for joining us. And until next time,
Wheels up.
Adios.